It is October 3rd. Happy Mean Girls Day and happy release party for The Life of a Showgirl Day. I haven't listened to it yet. I was laying in bed at like 10:30 last night and I was thinking I could stay up and listen to it tonight. And then I was like, but then I have to get out of bed and I'm like real comfy. I like to be fully invested in what I'm doing and I've completed the majority of my work for the day, so I feel that I can fully immerse myself at this point and then I can go online. So I think some final predictions for The Life of a Showgirl. I think a big theme that we're going to be seeing in this album is like a double entendre of sorts. I think a lot of the lyrics and songs are going to play to the idea of like multiple stories or multiple interpretations of the story. I really love how Taylor Swift can play multiple factions of her fandom and give them art that they feel seen in and that they interpret in totally different ways. I personally really enjoy reading her art through like a queer history, queer lens. I think it adds a lot more depth to her art and I think it adds a lot more nuance and I think it makes for the conversation to be more interesting, to be more meaningful, to be more historic. I really love the ways in which people who analyze her music from that viewpoint, like pull in history, pull in societal topics, pull in commentary on our society in a way that looking at her work very face value like doesn't necessarily lend to. So that is like my favorite kind of interpretations and analysis of her art. I think it just makes for her art to be so much more impactful, so much more interesting. I think it makes her a more interesting person too. I don't know if those are her intents obviously when she writes the songs, but I feel like we kind of get lost in this like artistic intent. Intent's such a nuanced concept in general, like not just in art, but in life. Like you can intend for a multitude of things when you do one action, and depending on how the other person receives that action, the intent doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter that you didn't intend to be harmful or to be problematic or whatever it is in what you did. If the other person perceived it that way, then that harm is still there. And so like I feel that is similar to art as well. Like the intent of the artist can be one thing, but once it's out in the world and people are living it and experiencing it and interacting with it, the artist's intent can't be the only interpretation because other people from other backgrounds and other walks of life are going to see different things in the art. So that's like what I'm most excited to see, is because her fandom always is able to like take one song or one lyric in a song and really see it so many different ways. And I think it's just really fascinating to see how different people see things differently in her art. And I also think like something that we're going to see a lot of is this like meta-analysis of her life and experience. I do think that she presented this idea of a visual album with Midnights. And I wouldn't argue that like Midnights, the product, is very visual because we only got 4 music videos, which isn't anything like unusual for like a standard album. And it's not the traditional visual album format that you're used to, like we've had Beyonce do or like Kelsea Ballerini do, where each song on the album gets a music video or a visual interpretation of it. But I do think that the Midnights era as a whole and her like use of her presence in society is part of that visual art. So like the way that she dresses, the way that the events that she chose to attend, the outfit choices for said events, the way that she interacts in interviews, and like all of that I think is part of the performance of Midnights. So I think that like Midnights is everything that she's choosing to do. I think everything's very intentional. And so that's like the visual portion of it. And I think that's like a commentary almost on like, as a celebrity, everything that you do, any way that you put yourself into the world publicly is going to represent your story and like tie into your story and affect your story. I'm expecting or hoping that there's some commentary on that. I'm excited for the production of it because I really enjoyed 1989 and Reputation, which very heavily featured Max Martin and Shellback in their collaboration with Taylor. So I'm excited to see what a full album from the 3 of them looks like. I do think it's very interesting that they are credited first on everything. It is Max Martin, Shellback, and Taylor Swift. She's third. And to two men, which I think is like very intentional. It's probably the contractual agreement that was set forth with this album. After she's made a whole, not stink, but like platform on women having ownership over their art and artists having ownership over their art and like women's roles within society, to put herself third on this album after she just bought back her masters, like, that's wild. That was intentional. That's a message, and I'm excited to see like what else that means. In the artwork, like the photos and stuff from the photo shoots all over socials today, as I've been like scrolling frantically past all Taylor Swift related things, and they're beautiful and they're like stunning and they're so striking, and it like evokes such a visual concept for the album that I hope that the music like fully facilitates us in that direction, because I think that's like one of the things about Midnights is the artistic choices around Midnights versus the artistic choices for the songs. Like, I don't know that I feel that like 70s fever dream in the songs always, the way that like the visuals of Midnights are very 70s fever dream. My fiance's already listened to the album like 3 or 4 times, and he said it's not his favorite, but he likes it better than the Dead Poets Society, as he keeps referring to Tortured Poets Department as. His favorite album is 1989 Reputation, so we both felt very confident that he would love this since it's the same production, but he said it's not his favorite, and he still might even like put it below Midnights. But then I did just get a text that said Opalite, so that seems to be a favorite of his. It's so weird because I love like a solo listen for the first listen. I love a quiet, immersive, thoughtful, wordy, like I like the lyrics. I want the lyrics. I like to watch the lyric videos typically, and they're not available because it's being premiered in the movie theaters. And so I don't have like the lyric videos to watch. And so I guess I'm just going to listen to it. And I hope I can find the lyrics somewhere, because I love to read lyrics as I listen to them on like my first couple of listens, forcing me to have a different experience. I'm not sure that I appreciate it, Taylor. I pay $14 to go see all these things in the theater tomorrow, which I'll take you along with for sure. I think that's enough yapping. We spent 11 minutes doing that. Let's go ahead and get into the songs. I felt like outside would be a nice little cozy environment to experience this. I've got my Eras Tour t-shirt on because I obviously don't have any Showgirl merch. I did not buy that orange cardigan, and I don't. Mostly because it was orange and sparkly, and like, what would I do with that? I'd wear it this weekend and never wear it again. And also, I don't collect the cardigans. They look very itchy. I'm a little nervous. I'm always nervous when starting a Taylor Swift album. Like, will I like it? I feel confident that I will, but will I? What if I don't? Does that make me a fake fan? Does it? Scotty says, probably, actually. Track 1, The Fate of Ophelia. This is a fun bop. It's gonna get stuck in my head. Love her bridges so much. I refuse to believe that Taylor Swift is singing a song about a man saving her. It's more about like Taylor and herself, and like this version of her, this new whatever interpretation of her, this matured version of her is saving. A younger version of herself thought that she was going to succumb to the fate of Ophelia, and then Taylor matures and she grows up and she goes back and thinks about like, I saved myself. I saved my younger self from that fate. And I think it's intentional that she drops words like teen. It doesn't need to be in any kind of like sports reference. I think that to make that connection, force that connection, but then to question it further. I refuse to believe that our billionaire Barbie was saved by a man. Elizabeth Taylor. The album is called Portofino Orange. Oh, baby. The number 1, but I never had 2. Confused what Elizabeth Taylor has to do with this. I don't know if I understand. I'm trying to get through the whole song before I make a thought, but I don't want to. It's interesting that she says, at number 1, but I never had 2, can't have fun if I can't have ... And like clearly there's a rhyme implied there of I can't have fun if I can't have you. Like, I'm wondering why she doesn't finish the rhyme, and also like I don't quite get been number 1, but I never had too. I think it's very interesting. I can't have fun if I can't have you. Almost like the you is there to cover my fun. And if I have you, then I can have fun. Not necessarily with you. I'm not entirely sure if this is supposed to be about Elizabeth Taylor. I don't know much about Elizabeth Taylor other than the fact that she was married 8 times and twice to the same man. And I feel like that's enough of a comment on this as a whole in of itself, is like Elizabeth Taylor is this very famous person, and I know that she was in played Cleopatra, and that she was famous for her violet eyes, but the fact that the only real legacy that most people know her for is her 8 husbands. Track 3, Opalite. Oh, this is Pat's favorite. That's so interesting because Opalite is fake opal. It's a manufactured opal. It's not real opal. And so the fact that her sky is opal light, so it's like opal, it's like a manufactured opal, but it's not actually opal, like, is so interesting. Is that, like, to me that says very obviously, like, I found something kind of like it, or like I manifested and created and manufactured something that looks like it, but it's still not opal. Ain't no one like you before. She made it. She manufactured her own opalite. What? The storm is in a teacup. What does that mean? The storm is contained. The storm is small. The storm is microscopic. She's clearly talking to this person like, we've manufactured this opalite. We have made this look like opal. So I'm thinking this is very manufactured. This is very much like a part of the plan. For her to say like, shelter here with me, obviously she's saying we can hide here together. Like, they'll never know. This is just a temporary speed bump. The road for us to find opal, us together now, is just a temporary speed bump. So like, what we are doing now is a temporary detour where we are making opalite on our way to actually getting opal. I don't know if I like this song. Life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So like, this is what we've been given. This is the price we've paid. This is the agreement we've made, whatever it might be. Haha, that just rhymed. I'm a poet. Now we're gonna make sunshine out of it. She's referred to Travis as Sunshine. Referred to another person as Sunshine too, but that was like nearly a decade ago. So I doubt that that's, unless these songs are old. That's a whole other conversation. Track 4. Father figure. The George Michael sample. I can take the chances because I'm bigger. Found family. She takes the fall for the family. My favorite one so far. Oh my god. I am speechless. Oh my god. I'm like actually speechless because George Michael's estate signed off on her to use that sample for the song, obviously, and they were very excited about her to use it on this song, which means that the thought and the meaning and the intent behind the song, and I know we talked about intent earlier, not necessarily carrying through once the art's in the world, but that meant that they agreed with her intent since they're putting his song into this. So that would lead me to believe that this is a found family, not her family, and she has promised to protect the family. Bigger presence, bigger capital, bigger social capital. She can take the heat and the damages to protect the other people who might not have that social capital or that monetary capital, who may not be financially in a position to take that heat. I wonder if this could also be potentially like a double timeline thought, because Taylor loves to do double timelines where she's like talking to a current person but also reflecting on a past event. I wonder if it's also like someone took me in and was mentoring me and I betrayed them to pursue what I thought was best for myself, and so I was kicked out of the community. I threatened the family, so they kicked me out, and I now have to grapple with that decision that I made. I had ambitions and I lost that lifeline. I lost that tether because I was going to expose the family. Oh my god. Okay, we gotta move on to track 5, the famous track 5, eldest daughter. I am an eldest daughter of an eldest daughter of an eldest daughter. Guess she's here now. Damn. I feel like she might be talking to her younger self in this song. I think Taylor Swift is this very quintessential millennial thing where she's constantly trying to unlearn bad behaviors, traumatic responses, or anything. I feel like that's a very millennial thing, to want to deconstruct certain ideals that have been passed on to you from previous generations. And I think the song is about her doing that. Like I think she's talking to herself. I did the work to find you again, like an inner child almost. Like I did the work to reconnect myself with you, and I'm not going to leave you behind again. I'm not going to betray this inner person that I have found for other people again. Let's move on to track 6. Ruin the Friendship. Tate Cheater. It's another high school song. She is literally endorsing cheating. This is so interesting. She is endorsing cheating. She is saying it's better to risk it all and ruin the friendship than to spend your whole life questioning whether or not that was your person. That is hilarious, because there's a huge subset of her fans who will bend over backwards to defend her, that she would never cheat because she's too moral, she's too good, she's too perfect, she doesn't make mistakes, she doesn't have immorality, she would never cheat. And she's literally like, do it, ruin the friendship, fuck your friend, do it. And that is so interesting. It really juxtaposes the like ideals that she puts out about herself. Like she really wants you to believe that she's just a girl and is just cheated on by every man she's ever been with, and it's just their fault, and she's a very innocent party, collateral damage, if you will, to every relationship that she's been in. And listen to her. She sings about cheating and stepping outside of relationships and bending the rules and gray areas all the time. A morally complex person. She's done things that she probably shouldn't have, as do most of us. And she wrote a whole fuck-ass song about just do it anyway. Just do it anyway. I think that is hilarious. Number 7, actually romantic. That's hilarious. Oh, she's a comedian. I think this is about her fans. Her fans have literally spent so much time being obsessed with her and loving her and talking about her, whether it's like in positive or negative. I mean, look at us right now, we're making a whole video about it. And she's like, you know what, that's actually real cute. Like you just like sit there and you just yap, 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 like a little chihuahua in a purse. And you think that really affects me in my life. I'm making coin off you anyway. That is hilarious. She is so funny. She is so funny. People think this is a diss track for like specifically one person, I believe, because I've seen that discourse online today. But I think she's hiding behind that. I think in classic Taylor fashion, she wants you to think it's about one specific person, and therefore it is not, because she is never so obvious in her songs. Haters, her fans, the publications, the media, anybody who like wants to talk trash about her, you know what? It is still press. It's bad press, but it's still press, and my name is still in your mouth. Oh, she's so funny. Wish list with dollar signs. Oh, Taylor, you want an Oscar. I think this might be satirical. That was the most sarcastic wow I've ever heard. Wow. That almost sounds like she's saying, you want me to boss up, settle down. Like you want me to be this record-breaking artist. That's what you've demanded of me for years, and now you want me to settle down? You've got like almost like you, society, whatever, has a wish list for her. I think that's what she might be saying. Bring me a best friend who I think is hot. I thought I had it right once, twice, but I did not. Alvin Harris, Joe Alwyn. Okay. Wow. It sounds ridiculous. This sounds ridiculous. It's like, they want me to be dreaming of a driveway with a basketball hoop? Like that? Like that's what you want me to? It sounds ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, you really think that Taylor Swift is dreaming about a driveway and a basketball hoop? She's a relatable queen, right? I can't get over the wow. I just want you. That's all I want in life. Just you. All right, we're on to Wood. Sounds like the song from Easy A. No. Fuck that. Oh my god, I hate it. Walk away for a minute after that one. What the fuck was that? Okay, this happens to me sometimes when I listen to her new songs, is that like on the first listen I'm like, what the hell did you just listen to? What did you write? What is this? What? It's so ridiculous. The New Heights reference? He amataz me? What does that even mean? Amataz me? His love was the key that opened my thighs? Taylor, what the fuck? I hate it. I don't like that visual. I'm gonna have to listen to that again and think about it. I have no thoughts. Onward. Cancelled. Oh, we're back. Oh my god. Salute Taylor Swift. Oh my god. Oh my god. Taylor Swift. That one was, that was good. I loved that one. I loved it so much I have no thoughts. But that is the bad boss, girl boss shit that I come here for. Oh, I love that one. That one was so, there's so many of the songs on here that I feel like are talking about the industry and talking about the way the industry moves and like the counter moves and the way that it's set up always be like a pawn in somebody else's game, which I believe is another Taylor Swift lyric. And like, regardless of what you do, you are always collateral damage in something. Whether it's something that you yourself did, something somebody else did, this is the way that the industry works and no one is safe. All right, Honey. I don't think I have any thoughts about Honey. Because she is correct, like honey, sweetheart, sweetie, they're always like very passive aggressive sounding when they're like used towards women. Like it's always a very like demeaning way of using it. Does it feel like most of the time it feels that way? And I don't know. But we're on the very last song, track 12, The Life of a Showgirl. Wow. She came out, I said, "You're living my dream." Okay. Married to the Hustle. It's a very interesting one. Sabrina Carpenter is really like a hit or miss for me. I don't love her vocals. I don't love her music. I like some of it, but not all of it. And that's our show, We Love You So Much, Good Night. And that's the end of this album. And then the end of Sabrina's album is Goodbye. Both of their albums ended with a goodbye of sorts. Okay, I'm sitting down to have my breakfast. I went and saw the movie last night, or the theater experience for Life of a Showgirl, as we close out on opening weekend. I wanted to share some thoughts. After you. The theater experience, I think, further brought into question for me what the purpose and point of this album really is. I keep circling back, waffling back and forth between these two different purposes and intents of the album, and like what we're supposed to be ascertaining from this whole process. It's the thought process that I've been grappling with as a Taylor Swift fan for the last couple of years, starting in 2023. That's when she started this project, and that's when I started really questioning like the sincerity of her as a person. I feel like the timing makes sense, and that would make sense to me if I started like wondering who exactly Taylor Swift was anymore, if it coincides with when this project started, and that's like the intent and purpose of it. He has been going on a lot of radio shows and doing interviews about the lead single, The Fate of Ophelia, and she talks about how Ophelia was driven mad by love. And I haven't read Hamlet since high school, but like listening to people who are much more familiar with the work talk about it, that's not actually why Ophelia dies. She is driven mad, and I think there's like a lot of debate on whether or not she really is mad, whether or not she really is insane, by being gaslit by the society and the structure in which she lives, which I think really resonates with things that Taylor Swift has said in the past, specifically in her Time Person of the Year article, and talking about reputation being a response to being gaslit by an entire social structure. And so like that, I think she would feel some kindredness to that, and that she's been driven mad by the expectations of everyone ever. She also talks at length about how this is an album that she's wanted to make for a really long time, and an album that she's incredibly proud of. And if we take it at a surface level, that feels very inauthentic to her. She's written better lyrics, she's presented a better story, she's done better everything in almost every sense of the word. So for her to say, this is the best work I've ever done and I've been wanting to do this for years, makes me think that there's more to it than its surface level interpretation. I just have always grappled with does Taylor really have more intent behind her art? Or is she really this very shallow person, this very mean person, this very disingenuous person? But again, she sings songs like Mirrorball, like she is every version of herself, every version that you want of her. And I do feel like this album could be like a creative writing prompt from Blank Space. Like, what if that Blank Space character, what if every character that's ever written about me in the news writes a song for this album? Like, and if that's something she wanted to do since she wrote 1989 but never felt equipped or ready to write that kind of album, then this makes sense. That this is something that she's been wanting to write for a long time. And she talks a lot about in Miss Americana remembering like how she had to grow up to reach maturity of a 29-year-old, and like the lessons she had to learn, and how she felt that she was frozen at the age she became famous, and all of this inner work she had to do to become a better person. And she talks a lot about the current state of the US's politics, and this is again from 2018 election cycle, so obviously things are much different and much worse. Being open and hopeful and soft to the world so that she maintained empathy. And this album just feels very Mean Girl coded. The way that she talked about Actually Romantic and the sentiment behind it really rubbed me the wrong way and really peeved me out in a very, oh god, very just like icky Mean Girl way. I don't know if that's, again, the point, or if she's just really not that person that she was in the Miss Americana documentary. Like, it makes me question, is that more authentic to her, or is this version more authentic to her? Same with like Canceled. Like, is she really this tone deaf to what's happening in the US and in politics? Is she really insulated herself that much and have that much money? I mean, she's a billionaire, where she has become so detached from reality? Or is somebody in her life, are people in her life holding her accountable, keeping her grounded, and maintaining that version of her in Miss Americana? Like, I don't know, we don't know, but it's something that I have constantly like struggled with in the last couple of years with her. And I went back and watched Miss Americana, and I felt validated in feeling that way because of how she speaks throughout the documentary. And I'm like, you know, I have every right to hold you to this standard that you set for yourself. You made a whole ass documentary about this, and you said these things with your whole chest, and now we feel very much unaligned with that anymore. And I have a right as a fan to hold you to that version of yourself, because you were a better version of yourself. I think it's really interesting that people are talking about the intent and like all of these things about the album rather than the actual songs, which is fascinating. Most people are not trying to like dissect who each song is about, because I think she made it very clear who she wants you to think each song is about. And so there's not as much guesswork of, ooh, do we think this could be about so-and-so, or do we think this could be about somebody else? I think that she very intently made it really easy to paternity test her songs, as she says, so that people are forced to have conversations about other things. And that's what I feel like has been happening, is that we have a lot of conversations on her and like our relationship with her and our expectations of her. And like, is it a commentary on the industry as a whole, on what's it like to be in Hollywood, and like what's it like to be a showgirl, and the autonomy that you really don't have, that everyone thinks that you have, and how even at your most powerful version of yourself, you are still beholden to these men who are in powerful positions. I think it's interesting that she credits George Michael, who, you know, obviously was an openly gay man and was an active member of the LGBT community, but then she doesn't credit people like whoever wrote Teenage Dirtbag, or like Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, or Cool from the Jonas Brothers, like, or all these other songs that she interpolated. She obviously knows that she did this. She gave credit where credit she felt was due, George Michael, and that feels very intentional. Like, she intentionally did that, what is the reasoning for that? Why that one song was their credit given to? Every song feels like a tabloid headline that I've read in the last year. Taylor Swift is saved by boyfriend Travis Kelce. Big, strong, hunky man saves her from damsel in distress fate. Taylor Swift's best friend, whose children she's the godmother of, betrays her in ugly court battle. I feel like the songs are headlines. I still only really like and am drawn to the Fate of Ophelia. I loved the music video. The music video was so well done. Like the production, the money that she put into that video, like it was beautiful. I love that she did everything like on a set and with set pieces and used like theater techniques to create the world and whatever. I thought that was it was giving musical theater kid with an unlimited budget, and which I really enjoyed. I can't wait for that to premiere on YouTube so I can watch it 1 million more times. And then I really like Elizabeth Taylor, and I like Father Figure, and Canceled, and The Life of a Showgirl. Still don't like Wood. I did like the clean version better. Took out some of the words like dickmatized that I was really, you know, confused and thrown off by. I don't love Honey. I didn't have an issue with Actually Romantic until she described what that song was about, and now I'm like, ooh, that's icky. I always like have a very sordid relationship with the rollout of any of her albums. So it'll be interesting to see a year from now where my feelings finally land, because it always takes like that long for me to finally like settle in my feelings for a Taylor Swift album. But right now I'm just wondering if this is a bit, if this is a creative writing prompt, if this is a commentary on society, on media, on Hollywood, on the industry, or if she really is this shallow mean girl. I mean, it was released on Mean Girls Day that the album is kind of painting her to be like a very unbothered queen. Those are my final thoughts on The Life of a Showgirl at the conclusion of release weekend. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you want to chat with me anywhere online about this, my Instagram and Blue Sky handles are on the screen now. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'll talk to you very soon. Bye. Bree, say bye.